Golden State Media Concepts Fantasy Football Podcast is your one-stop shop for fantasy football news and advice. Can't decide on who to draft on the first round? Going gaga on how to line up your team? We've got you covered. Traditional leagues, dynasty leagues, PPR leagues, IDP league, even daily fantasy football league. Join us as we break down all the questions of fantasy football. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Fantasy Football Podcast.
What's going on, y'all? This is the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, Austin Englum, here to bring you all the news today. Guys, we literally made it. I can't believe that we made it through the dog days of summer, through all this baseball that I haven't been wanting to watch. I don't know how we did it, but somehow we actually made it to football season. Tomorrow, Patrick Mahomes in Arrowhead, probably about to go crazy. Might not have Travis Kelce. We're going to get into all that today. I'm just going to be talking about kind of both sides of the ball here. Going to start with the Lions and their advantages. Then on the back half, I'm going to talk about the Chiefs and their advantages. Make sure you're tapping in with us. Apparently we're going Monday through Friday, just pumping out the content for you guys. For me, it's going to be the fantasy football. We also got the basketball and the baseball podcast rolling before this, capping off with some fantasy football. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Tune in if you're liking what we're doing. If you guys didn't do your fantasy draft already, what are you doing? Procrastinators. I know you guys are procrastinating. We got hours left. Please get to that ASAP. Without further ado, let's get into this game. We got the Chiefs, we got the Lions pulling up tomorrow. And actually, no, we're gonna be talking about the Lions' advantage first. I'm not gonna cap to y'all. I do have the Lions winning this game tomorrow. Not by like any sizable margin or anything. I do think the Kelce news does affect that. Kelce, if you haven't heard, hyperextension in practice yesterday, I believe, and he is questionable to be playing in the game tomorrow. It's more like if I'm his friend, if I'm his brother, they do the podcast together, and I'm gonna tell Kelce, hey, bro, you're 34 years old, go ahead, just wait a week, chill out, Patrick Mahomes might just get it done by himself, which he's done many times before. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him sit this game. Obviously, I don't want him to sit. I love Travis Kelce, definitely the best tight end. There was a lot of people. I was actually watching some fantasy stuff today where everybody's talking like it might as well be if Travis Kelce didn't have an arm and a leg, like he was just running around there with one arm and one leg, he would still be the best tight end, and you got to start him in your fantasy league. A bit of an over dramatization, but Travis Kelce is an absolute problem and should be treated as such. However, I am on the Lions tomorrow, most definitely, and that is because of one reason: this guy Chris Jones not playing. Chris Jones, defensive tackle, absolute savage, rated number 1 in PFF for defensive tackles. So that's definitely noteworthy. They're going to be missing him, and it's simply because they just don't want to pay him. They don't want to pay the guy. This guy has made an impact. He's been a major player for both of their Super Bowl runs, and it's just like he said, if you look up the video, he just said, guys, I just want to raise. I just want to raise. I'm doing a good job out here. Why can't all pro defensive tackle get a raise out here? I'm sure a lot of running backs are thinking the same thing in the league right now. Jonathan Taylor's over here. I want a raise, Jim Irsay, and nobody's getting these raises in the NFL. Pretty crazy. Let's start somewhere that not a lot of people start when we're talking about an NFL game, and that's the offensive line versus defensive line play. And I specifically want to touch on the Lions offensive line going up against the Chiefs defensive line. Obviously, no Chris Jones, extremely major factor. The Lions are going to sport out there. They got Frank Ragnow, Penei Sewell, and Taylor Decker, who are all first-round picks. Pretty solid. And the running backs that they have right now, they're not going to need too much space to get going. Jahmyr Gibbs running a 4.36 40. He is a problem. He's coming out of Bama, obviously. He also played at Georgia Tech, put up crazy receiving seasons. I expect him to come in and be like an Alvin Kamara type guy. He is an absolute problem for sure. Uh, but for the Chiefs D line, without Chris Jones, they're going to be sporting George Karlaftis. Hope I'm saying that right. Derek Noddy and Tershawn Wharton, who all or George Karlaftis. I was actually very surprised about this. His rookie year was last year, and this or coming into now, he is ranked number 8 on PFF's defensive ends list, with only 6 sacks. So that means he's really just got to be playing efficient football, doing a lot, maybe getting some tackles for loss for sure. But as far as Derek Noddy and Tershawn Wharton, I think these guys are kind of going to get washed by uh, Penei Sewell, Frank Ragnow, and Taylor Decker. I think they're really going to get to him. Um, and even if they don't get them like fully, I do see the Lions grinding out these 3-4 yard carries with Montgomery, with Gibbs, looking to just wear him down and set up that play action down the field to Amon Ra, down the field to still Gibbs because they said they're going to be using him very creatively. So I'm excited to see. I definitely do have the Lions currently. I think the X factor this game will be Amon-Ra St. Brown for sure. Amon-Ra St. Brown, uh, very very good player. Definitely excited to watch him play. He's going to be going up against Trent McDuffie, who also last year was a rookie. Started to come on late really well, and yeah, I'm excited for that. On some random note, Amon-Ra St. Brown, he was in an interview for with Part of My Take. They're also like big football guys. He did say this publicly, so I'm not like letting off any information that's unknown. But he was saying that him and his father would like kiss sometimes, like growing up, as well as uh, he kisses his mom, which is obviously sweet. I want to preface by saying that these guys are from Germany and they grew up from Germany, where it's much more normalized to do that within your family. Do what you do. That's cool. But he did say that when him and his brother Equinemius, who is a receiver for the Bears, when they were children, they would get in fights. He would make them kiss to make up, which is kind of interesting. I wanted to get some more information on the subject. You know what I'm saying? Just wanted to get a little bit more information, and I actually have a graphic for y'all. This is actually Amon-Ra and Equinemius St. Brown's father right here. Yeah, wow. Just take that in for a second. That dude is big. That is a large man. So I just know if I'm, 12, 13 years old and my dad was like, kiss your brother, I'd be like, dang, I guess you looking the way you do, I'm gonna probably do anything you say. Random tangent, just thought it was funny and it was on Part of My Take. It's pretty funny. I know Equinemius and Amon-Ra never lost the uh oh, my dad could beat up your dad. Uh, no, Amon-Ra's dad could probably beat up anybody's dad. Period. But yeah, I'm super excited for this game. Just know that Jahmyr Gibbs, it's reports Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be limited a little bit. They don't want to start him off super strong, so expect David Montgomery to be in there getting some carries, probably getting a lot of the goal line work. But I've been having eyes on Jahmyr Gibbs' college tape. I've been watching a lot of tape just because I do love the football. And around the goal line, that's where he's the shiftiest. He just beats people to the spot, beats people right into the end zone. So if you're looking anytime touchdown scores, I could be looking at Jahmyr Gibbs for sure. Um, the one person I am looking at that is the sleeper, because you know me, I'm all about the sleepers, is this guy right here, Sam LaPorta. Rookie tight end coming out of Iowa. He was a second round 34th pick for the Detroit Lions. Actually ran a 4.59 40-yard dash, which was pretty solid for a tight end. In college, he 58 catches for 657 yards and only one touchdown, which is a bit surprising for someone being this high of a draft pick, only scoring one touchdown in their final season in college. But I'll tell you, there's another guy I was watching his film. This guy's shifty. He's very, very shifty. Definitely makes a lot of moves on the field. So I wouldn't be scared to, if you're into the DFS, into stuff like that, go ahead and give him a look. You probably get him at a great price. Yeah, I'm very excited to see what they have going over in Detroit. On the other side of the ball, obviously we got the $500 million man, Mr. Patrick Mahomes. Um, Very excited about him. Last year, 5,250 yards, 41 touchdowns. Just a large problem. I do want to walk through some of Patrick Mahomes' accolades if I can, please, because a lot of people we go through, we watch the LeBrons of the world, we watch the Tom Brady's, we watch anybody who's really the GOAT, just like walk through their career, and we really don't like witness the greatness as it's happening. So I just want to touch on a couple things. Patrick Mahomes spent the first season as a backup. Okay, first season he's a backup to Alex Smith. Just learns under him. Is a solid backup. I'm sure. Everybody's like, I wonder what he can do. Um, Comes in. So from the year that he started, his second year up to his 6th year now, um, second in touchdowns within that time, only behind Dan Marino. Second in yards in that time, only to Peyton Manning. Obviously, grabbed 2 Super Bowls in those years. So really only 5 years. He's in the league for 6, but 5 years, 2 Super Bowls. He's literally shooting a 40% clip, a Steph Curry clip from the Super Bowl line. That's just insane. We'll see if he can obviously keep that going. This year, FanDuel currently has him 4,650.5 yards for his over under. Last year he went 5,000, absolutely nuclear. Let me get the exact number for you. 5,250 yards. Yeah, whole lot. And FanDuel is projecting 700 yards lower. Obviously, less weapons, things of that nature. But I would have to imagine he will be at least having a great chance to go over that. Um, as far as that goes, we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the Chiefs' offense and their advantages on that side of the ball. Be right back. Yes, sir, and we are back. Oh my. And we're going to be talking about the Chiefs' advantage. If we could get it up. Yes, sir. We're going to be talking about the Chiefs' advantage. Obviously, we were talking about Patrick Mahomes. Uh, yeah, 5,250 yards. Man's an absolute dog. And the thing to think about is if he's going to throw for another 5,000 yards, say, and I think it's probably very likely that he does, who are those yards going to go to, right? So last year, Kelsey ate up 1,338 yards, 12 touchdowns on 110 catches. Let's that is just ridiculous from your tight end position. Obviously, everybody's heard this stat. He scored, this being Travis Kelsey, 100 more points than any other tight end in the entire league, fantasy wise, last year. That's why he's a must grab, and I'm sure people are heartbroken to see that he's going through any type of injury and or hindrance. But we just pray that he's all better soon. So people can have their but not the people who are playing against me. Like if he wants to sit out and he's playing against me, that's fine. I don't mind that at all. Anyways, Juju Smith-Schuster grabs 933 yards off of 78 catches, 3 touchdowns. He's not there anymore. They're gonna have to find someone to fill in that role, and it could be this guy who last year, Marcus Valdez-Scantling, former Packer, explosive player, pretty tall guy, and has home run speed for sure. Um, he went 687 yards off 42 catches, only two touchdowns. I'm sure a lot of people are expecting him to go a little bit. Uh, However, in a lot of drafts, his ADP was extremely low, definitely lower than Skyy Moore's. Um, so I mean, a bit of uncertainty with this offense, I would say. Also, Jerick McKinnon splashed for 9 touchdowns, which many of them, I think, 7 in his last like 5 weeks. He had 7 touchdowns in the last 5 weeks. He popped off 56 yards, 512 yards, and then 9 touchdowns. Um, to me, he is the most dangerous player in the offense. He is extremely versatile. Uh, he can run the ball, but he's more of like the pass catching back. He can play in the slot a little bit if he needs to. I really enjoy watching him play, man, and I did grab him in like most of my fantasy leagues now. Now that I have three technically, because one is an underdog, but uh, I'm still rocking with him. I really like him. Um, Most definitely. Mahomes probably in store for another at least MVP candidate season. I would be really surprised if the $500 million man here does anything but that. Um, I just don't see it happening. You guys tell me. I absolutely feel like he's in store for another 5,000 yard season. I don't care who's out there. We could put, you know, I legitimately think he would have a chance if we put some college players out there, like some really top tier college players, and he was just throwing to them. I think he's that good where he could fake out the defense and still put up an insane amount of yards and probably an MVP season. I'm not joking. Um, the last guy here that I want to talk about is one Skyy Moore. Um, so last year, guys, Skyy Moore was a bit disappointing, and I'll tell you why here. Coming out of college, he went to Western Michigan here, 1,300 yards in his senior or his junior season because he came out a year early. Had 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns in that junior season. And coming into his first year, his rookie year in the league, uh, he only had 22 catches for 250 yards and 0 touchdowns actually. Pretty disappointing season for him, unfortunately. This preseason, he's been working hard. A lot of people are high on him, and apparently he has been running with the ones. So, look for him to definitely be doing some things. And it's also been said in reports that in the two wide receiver sets, he's at least one of those guys that's always getting time. Justin Ross and Rashee Rice have been going in sparingly, but I'm sure that just because of that extra year in the league, as well as just like the extra reps with the team and Pat, he'll be the one to get the benefit of the doubt as it pertains to targets behind Kelsey and possibly behind MVS, but I think he does have a chance to fight for that technically wide receiver one role, even though Kelsey is always going to be the wide receiver one until he decides not to be. Um, but here's the thing: if he doesn't do it, someone else will. They got Kadarius Toney, they got um, still Isaiah Pacheco is going to make a difference in their offense. Um, So I mean, it's just yet to be seen, but I'm excited to watch. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much the end of our show here. Um, Guys, make sure you like and subscribe if you're liking it. We're just gonna be on for a little bit, uh, for the first couple days, and then we're gonna start extending the podcast a little farther. I only gave y'all 2 segments today, and I'll roll into probably like 3 or 4 as we go down the line, and just keep pumping them out. So yeah, go ahead and like and subscribe. Thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out Andrew Tate, the head of the GSMC podcast network, and I'll see you guys soon.